In the garden, Taft Price talks with our garden expert Paul James about the do's and don'ts during the winter season.
All right, Paul, we're staying on the sidewalk and not on the ground. That's one of the don'ts. Here's another don't that we typically forget, but this is something really important.
Okay, these watering cans are actually very expensive. If you've ever gone to buy one,
Yes.
they're pricey. So what you don't want to do is what I've done this week is leave them out to where moisture accumulates in them, because then that will freeze and you'll break the welds. These are welded at the base, and those welds will bust, and then there goes 40, 50 bucks down the drain.
And then also they will rust a little bit, so then they become worthless as you move into the spring.
Well, these are galvanized, so these aren't going to rust.
Okay, well, that's
Taft,
good.
but-
These are much nicer than the ones I use, I guess.
But anyway, you know, a simple tip, but an important one, because again, because of the price of these. Now, over here, I got something else I got to show you.
Okay.
Okay, Taft, I got my bonsai here. Okay, and by the way, it's bonsai, not bonsai.
Bonsai.
Bonsai means
Got it.
tree and pot.
Okay.
Okay, people get these for gifts during the holidays. They're a great gift, but the mistake they make is they treat them as houseplants. They take them inside. These are not houseplants. They must stay outside year-round. Now, if temperatures drop below 20 or so, you can move them in the garage. You could set them in the house for a day, 2 at the most. But beyond that, they've got to experience all the same climatic changes that big trees experience. Okay. So that's the quickest way in the world to kill them, and that's how so many die, is people put them in the house like houseplants.
Yeah, so just leave them out here. I know that I've been over here several times, and these plants always stay outside no matter what the temperature is.
That's right. Now, you can also set them in, say, your vegetable garden and cover them up with leaves and mulch, just to insulate the root ball. But beyond that, please leave them outside.
Okay, yeah, it's cold out here, and they still look just as good as they did in the summertime.
Yep, I love them.
Now we're going to talk about taking care of our tools, and obviously when you gave me the Pam, I thought we were going to eat something because I was getting a little hungry, but now that you have a shovel, I guess we're using it for something else.
We're going to use it for something else. You know, tools, you have a considerable investment in tools. This happens to be about 30 years old, believe it or not.
Wow.
And I do my best to, at the end of winter when I'm pretty much done with most of my gardening, make sure you give your tools a good cleaning. I usually use a stiff wire brush, but I couldn't find it. So knock that dirt off, because the dirt contains moisture and that'll lead to rust. So we've got that done. Now, if you'll just hit that with a little bit of Pam, a little spray oil, you can use anything, 3-in-1 oil, motor oil, you can use whatever you want. And then take a rag and really just saturate that metal surface, and that will protect those tools for the long haul.
Wow, it looks great.
And then 30 years later, you know, it'll still look
the same.
almost good as new. Kind of like us. Almost good
almost
as new.
good, yeah.
So that's it for the tools, and you know, I only have about 40 more to go.
So you got a whole weekend planned.
Yeah, I mean, loppers, pruners, shovels, rakes, anything and everything. Get that oil on them.
Again, it prepares you for the springtime.
Yep.
All right, what else do you have for us?
One more.
Okay, Paul, here's something else that we really need to think about in the wintertime. Pots. Now, they're going to react differently during the wintertime season.
Right. Traditional clay pots will oftentimes, if you have soil in them, then they're going to expand and contract as moisture gets in them, and then we freeze and thaw, and they'll bust. So, and pots can be pretty pricey as well. So you need to empty the soil out of those or store them out of the weather. Now, glazed pots typically are perfectly fine to leave out with soil in them. I've even got a little Italian parsley still in this one, believe it or not. Wow. They're okay because they've been double fired, and it's a much heavier clay. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, some terracotta, that one over there, that's a fairly expensive pot. It's okay. I've left that out years and years and years. But just keep that in mind, because you don't want those pots to crack, and it's too bad when it happens.
Yeah, indeed. So these are things that we need to prepare ourselves for through the winter, so in the springtime, maybe we're not spending as much money having to replace those.
Spoken like a true crackpot.
Well, I don't even know how to end the segment now. Hey, these are some great ideas that you can do right now in your garden. Again, we'll save you some money, and also it'll help you out as we move into the spring in your garden.